Okay, so you moved from West Dallas to Oak Cliff, and you said you moved in the 10th grade. So let me walk back a little bit. What high school did you attend?
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Frank, you know I've had so many people from Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Mustang.
Man, they breed talent over there.
Oh man, tell me about it.
So you, how many siblings do you have?
I got 2 sisters and a brother.
2 sisters and a brother.
I'm the oldest.
Okay, so you're the oldest. And what was the family dynamics? Did you come from a 2-parent background?
Yeah, mom and daddy. I got that good one, you know, mom and daddy right there. You get your butt whooped if you don't do what you're supposed to do. The great thing about it, my father and them were musicians.
Okay.
So I want to do everything right so I can get to that piano, get to my saxophone or my flute or whatever. You know?
Okay, so and we're gonna walk down through that because I know you know many instruments. So we have a nice family dynamic. I know which part of Oak Cliff that is.
Dear Pat.
Dear Pat. So tell me, you know, what was life like at Roosevelt High School?
Well, you know, coming from West Dallas, you know, West Dallas had a reputation in the 60s.
Absolutely.
So as soon as they built Roosevelt in '64, my mother and we moved to Oak Cliff. And it was by me coming into being a musician, playing in the band. So when I came to Roosevelt, I went straight, got in the band, and so people started noticing, oh, that dude plays saxophone, you probably played the drum. Because my father and them, I was already gigging.
Okay.
When I was 15 years old, I was at the nightclubs with my father and my cousin, saxophone player. My dad played saxophone, and my uncle played saxophone, and my cousin. And so we were saxophone players, and we would gig. He would take us out to get us a touch of it, even while we was in school.
Okay, so tell me this. Now, when I hear of a whole musical type family, it takes me to New Orleans. So were your parents anybody from New Orleans?
No, they were from the Deep South.
Deep South.
Deep South. My grandfather was a saxophone player with an orchestra called the Andy Kirk Orchestra. They was like Count Basie, Duke Ellington, and this was his orchestra, and he played saxophone in that. Matter of fact, we got that same saxophone right today. I had the same saxophone right today.
Is that right?
Yes, yes. It stayed in the family, you know. So, yeah, it came right down in deep Texas.
Right down in Texas. Okay, so your father passes this around. You're gigging even though you're in school. Yes. So you're playing various instruments with family members. So did you graduate from Roosevelt?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when you told me that, hey, 10th grade I went to Roosevelt, but I was originally from West Dallas. You know, I spent a lot of time in West Dallas, fortunately or unfortunately. And a couple of lessons I learned. You know, my father taught me to box and stuff and karate and stuff because that's what he did. But I used to have to apply it in West Dallas because there was a whole bunch of fighting over there in West Dallas.
Well, I know who your daddy is. I knew your daddy. He even bring it back when he taught you all the boxing stuff. Yeah. West Dallas was a lesson. And see, I was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade there.
Okay.
And then, you know, Roosevelt, 10th grade, that's when we moved to Oak Cliff.
Okay.
And that got me out of West Dallas.
So you graduate Roosevelt, so then what's next?
Well, you know, they were offering a bunch of scholarships to go to play the saxophone in school, in college. So I took a 2-year scholarship at a junior college, got in a band down in Henderson, Texas. Athens, Texas.
Athens, Texas.
It's called Hick-Jick. It was called Henderson County Junior College.
Okay.
And this is our first time being away from home, going down to college, all these white people and we brothers, you know. And this was 67, 68, so you got to remember Malcolm X left that time, you know. So it was a heightened thing back then.
Okay. So did you experience any racism?
Oh, plenty of it, but they were a little bit afraid of black people, you know. You know, they tried that stuff, but we had our pool sticks, and they left us alone, you know. Because I was in the band, you know, and I didn't have no bad reputation, but I wasn't going to let nobody. It wasn't about 6, 7 of us down there.
Yeah.
Down there in Athens. But it was I love the experience I got.
Okay, so you spend the time in Athens Junior College, and where do you go from there?
Well, when we came back to Dallas, I came back to Dallas because me and my cousin, a couple more guys, we done put us a little band together. They didn't let us go into the Randas. We was 17, 18 years, but we played jazz, real tough. I was saxophone, my cousin, the organ, and a drummer, you know. And so they let us start playing in there. And one night a football player from Pittsburgh Steelers was in there listening. He's in the Sands Club listening at the Randas, listening to us. And he offered to take us to San Francisco to try to get us put on.
Oh, really?
So that was my first venture into seeing what it like out there, you know, and got a little experience. And it didn't work, and where he didn't really know, and we didn't know. We wasn't writing no song. We just think if we go there and play like we played at the club in San Francisco, we're gonna be famous.
Okay.
We didn't know what we was doing, but we was getting that experience. I was picking up knowledge from everywhere I was in, any musician, any group I met, I kept, you know, throwing that in until I finally, I said, man, you know what? Let's take this back to Dallas. And we'll shock them because they don't know nothing of this LA slick stuff, you know.
Okay.
We had the flower pants and the big afros and the bag patches on it. People wasn't used to that. And wearing, you know, different color shoes, white shoes with high heels on it. And we was at right down the street here at the Funky Monkey on Lemon Avenue and Oak Lawn.
Yeah.
It was called the Alibaba. Then they changed it to the Funky Monkey and the Gerties. And it was in North Dallas.
Okay.
And we used to have people at that place all the way to Oak Lawn in line to get it, because we played from 9 to 4 in the morning every night of the week, 7 nights a week. We played from 9 to 4. Just, and you know what it was. You had the acid and the stay up, the speed stuff.
Yeah.
We wasn't really seriously into drugs, and you smoked, you know, your marijuana.
Yeah.
And if somebody let you snort some coke, you didn't know what you made. If you did, yeah, snort some coke. We wasn't, you know, we were into the deep drugs there. We was into that music really strong there. But it eventually came, you know.
You know, when you said that, I got a visual.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one thing about music, and sometimes musicians, like I told you, I grew up, my next door neighbor was Roy Hargrove. And when I watch movies like Ray Charles, and I love those biopics, you know, is it pain that is carried within a musician to make their fingers magical?
I know a lot of musicians play to just get. But what you said, that was Ray Charles. That's me. I play what I have to feel it. My buddy AD can tell you. It had to have a feeling. It has to say something to me. I'm just not doing it just to make a track and just put this little part on it going. It got to say something to me. I got my hard drive got 200 songs when I came home off of my sabbatical, and that's the way I had to do it. It's and the pain from prison, the pain from doing all that working. And writing all them hit records, and you ain't got no money, you know. You write Oops Upside the Head, and then you write Early in the Morning, and you don't even get mentioned that you did.
Early in the morning. So let's walk through there. So what was the transition? You go from playing these gigs at the club, you playing often. So when was your big break?
See, I had a girlfriend, and her sister that sung background with a rock and roll man named Leon Russell, the master of space and time. He wrote, I've been so many places in my life and time. He wrote a song for you. He was a big songwriter, and he started going out on the road. He wanted to back in the 60s, the 70s, early 70s, the black girls, 3 girls. Well, my girl was one of the girls. And so she was going out with him, and she was sleeping with him. I knew it, because we woke up one morning, there was a 450 SL, a brand new Mercedes in the yard with a ribbon on it.
Oh.
And she said, I don't know why he would do it. Well, baby, I know what's going on. I said, I'm not mad. What I want you to do is tell Leon about my boys down here, and maybe he can get us. Now, Leon Russell is the man who discovered Charlie.
Okay, and when we say Charlie, who are we talking about?
Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson. Hello, how you doing? My name is Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie
yeah.
Wilson.
Well, he discovered them, and my band, my girl was singing with him, so they lived. It was Tulsa, where he was out of. He had a big studio there, and he came. They played the reunion, and I brought him down to the Palladium Club after the show at Lamar and Forest Avenue back then. They called it the Piss Den. It's down in them limousines come over that hill, and he came in, he sit there, and he looked at, this is rock and roll. And he watched me, and he didn't take his eyes off me. And when he got ready to go, he told Phyllis, he said, you tell the flute player, get a flute player the number, and let me get in touch with me, because I really like what he's doing. She was hating because there was a woman in the band that was my piano player, so my girlfriend, so she didn't want to try to help us, but he never forgot. And they ended up leaving Leon, going with Joe Cocker and Pink Floyd, and he fell on law, so he got in some more girls, and he called me, he said, I want that flute player to be in your band. And that's how I got to Tulsa. And then next thing I see is them country with them red socks on, them half been all the child them coming in there looking like they straight out the country. I mean, they was countries all across. I'm telling you, they wasn't Dallas slick like us, you know. And when me and Yarborough Haven was in my band, we went up there, man. We met Charlie and them, and we never forgot it. And I met DJ Rogers. He had a song back in the say you love me. He was a kind of big time guy. He was with Totally Spirits, the record companies with him. So he come to Dallas and played, and I said, look, man, can you give me? He said, I know he is. You want to, Phyllis, Leon going with her, and you go with her too. He said, yeah, I know, yeah. He said, well, you can be in L.A. in January 1977. He said, you can play on my first album, and that's how I started.
1977, January 1977.
He told me, you just make it, and I told my buddy, I said, man, called him, I just said, man, why Trey, what you doing? Can you run me to L.A.? And he said, what? Can you run me to L.A.? He said, if I be there this day, I can start on this man's album. And I ain't never played on no album. He finna give me a shot. And that's what happened. And 2 or 3 months later, Charlie and them done ventured up there and walking down Hollywood Boulevard, I said, hey man, and here we go, you know.
So tell me this. So it sounds as though you and Charlie ran into each other locally in Dallas prior to California?
Well, in Tulsa.
In Tulsa.
When I was telling you about we going up there to meet Leon and my girl was saying with him. Well, see, they was there. He had already panned them for their next album was called Stop All That Jazz. And he had Charlie and all of them dressed up like Africans and native bones in their nose.
Okay.
You know, he loved black people. You know, he was married to, he dated Claudia near all those black girls. He loved black women. Okay. And this new girl, when he got a new girl, Mary McQuarrie, he said, I want him in your band, whatever you do. Whatever, you just let him play the saxophone, I just want him in the band. And that's how I got in. And him and Leon was crazy, but actually brought Charlie and them out, so he helped me too, you know.
Okay. So after January 77, you're on, while you were playing small gigs, I mean, you weren't heavily into drugs, but you were experimenting a little bit, staying up. So tell me, what changed the trajectory of your life?
Well, when we got the deal, I had a partner that just got out of the penitentiary. And I had promised him, because we were doing something together and I got away and he didn't tell, he went and did the time. I said, when you get back, I'm gonna have a place for us to do our music. His name is Kevin Yarborough from Yarborough and Peoples. And when he came home, we started hanging, man. I let him, we started when he was 12 years old, man. He just was always with me. And I told him, whenever you get home, we gonna make it. And when he come home, I was up there with DJ and them and then run back into Charlie and them, and he knew all of them. And as soon as he was straight, I said, man, you know, as soon as I get put on, I'm gonna call. But in between that, Natalie Cole needed an organ player for a tour. Her piano player, mother had died, and the guy on the organ was moving over there, and he said, well, I know somebody that can come out here and get this gig, man. And I had never did no major gig like that. Yeah. So they sent me the little thing. 2 weeks later, I was up there working with Natalie. You know, Natalie Cole, and that was a major gig with Natalie.
Yeah.
She paid you $1,000 a week, gave you $25 a day to eat, and you stayed where she stayed. If she was in the Hilton, you was in the Hilton. You didn't go to the holiday.
Okay.
I mean, I came in and she taught me. Oh, she taught me so much, man. She taught me so much because I was so green and that didn't know. Somebody put one of them things in my mouth and they was just using me. And someone in the background said, "Man, they tearing that new boy up down there." They said, "Call the college." And they said, "How much money you done spent down there, boy?" I said, she said, I know you got your, hey, but my husband gave you $1,000. I said, yeah, I done spent about $300-400. She said, you ain't got a pile of stuff on it? She said, get out of there right now and come up to my room. She said, you gonna do this, let me give you the game. She taught me how to not spend my $1,000 a week to send it back to and live off of that $25 a day. She said, you're gonna eat at every venue, she just, man, God rest her soul, I called her Annie. And when she got clean, she came down here to Ricky Rush's church.
Yes.
And my mama said, that girl, now she know Ricky Rush, is that Ricky Rush church, why don't you go down there, because I heard she's clean. And I went down, they didn't believe me. They said, man, you know what else. I said, you go back there and tell her Mr. Goodie just want to speak to her. And he came back, he said, man, she said, come on, she know you. And she just hugged me and tried to apologize for putting that into my life. I said, I was going to get it anyway. Okay. I said, what I'm saying is what you're doing, then I'm going to, I'm gonna work on it.
So let's walk through that because listen, in between success is life. In between failures is life. You mentioned something to me off camera that I'll bring to camera. You said you had a pretty good career. The Shaka Khan's, the Natalie Cole, so on. So we can name this. But then there was 42 years. And I call that 42 years of being lost. That's what I call it.
You know I was lost.
So walk me through that.
42 years. So that had been 1978. And nobody let me taste it. And from 1978 2000. My mama left in 2021. I was haunted by that. Even with, I got a 9-year sentence. And I did 8 years and 8 months. I had 4 months left when I got. And I spent it, I didn't spend it getting in the penitentiary thing. People knew I was Mr. Goodie and they knew I was going to tell them the right thing to the youngsters, and I was going to be by my word, because I didn't want to get into the penitentiary things in there. I didn't know. And I helped a lot of people in there, man, while I was in there, And that made me feel, when I did come home, I knew what my mission was. Didn't stay on it, because after 6 or 7 months, that those familiar spirits, they know how to introduce themselves slowly but surely, and I wasn't free indeed. Okay. And when you ain't free indeed, he gonna haunt you.
Okay.
42 years.
So I have some experience. I mentioned earlier that my father is Larry the Mac James.
Yes.
And what we talk about sometimes, I've heard people, they question things. They say, oh, so your dad, he had 9 cars, he owns some apartments, he owns stores. And they talk about, the Brioni suits and the road and the diamonds. But I said, listen, but you didn't experience his crack addiction. I was there for it.
He missed that, your father?
He didn't miss it. He was on it.
Oh, wow.
I was there for it, me and my brothers. So the side of the story we tell is what we experience, because hurt people hurt people. So what I'm trying to understand from your story is it was glamorous. I mean, you moving and you shaking hands with some of the best. And then you got introduced to something that slowed things down for you.
No, because that is a mind-altering substance that I always believed it was of the devil, and what he is. Because what he would do, keep you there for a few seconds, and you always you never get enough.
Just chasing.
And I seen that there's no such thing as enough.
Yeah.
My friend Kevin, we done sit in an apartment with a half a kilo and just said we gonna see when it's enough. We was hitting it and throwing it up. Wouldn't even get, didn't make it move. It was just like that rat that hit that thing, that peel dropped down. He kept hitting until he be laying over hard as a brick. That's how it got with us. You know, it was, and I ain't but one thing. It was slowly, I knew I wanted out, but I didn't know how. And you wanted somebody that's gonna get you out of that. And you know who that is, and that's what saved me.
God.
God saved me out of that, man, right now.
That part.
He said, all right. He covered me the whole time. See, that's why they called me Goodie. Because even though I was all of that, I never did get into the culture of being a crackhead. And because Natalie Cole taught me the etiquette of cocaine. She taught me cocaine etiquette. When she called me up from down there and said, come to my room, sit. Whenever you get ready to get high, don't send your money, just come here. She said, because I can't find nobody I can trust. Somebody got to go get it. He said, when I send them, they take half my stuff out and put baby stuff. She said, I noticed when I send you, you don't touch nothing, that package is there. And I got that trust with her, so she helped me out, you know. And I was never got into the culture where I do all that old tricky stuff. Well, even in my hood stuff around here, they knew no, you ain't finna pawn my car, no. If I pawn it, I got to play on it tomorrow night. How I'm gonna eat, you know. So I didn't get into the culture of it to where I couldn't, and I knew I could always look back. I could always listen. If you like that, you can always get away. You can walk away, but you know God knows. He knows the time and the day.
Absolutely.
Before you even think about it, you know.
Absolutely.
And see, when I was in the business, it was one of the, it's a scripture in the Bible, Joshua 1:8 says, keep this book of laws on your lips at all times, making sure to try to do everything that's wrote in it. Then you'll have success. I didn't mention his name not one time. Only spiritual thing we got was from Elisa Peoples. That's Lois, my love of my life, my sister forever. She from Church of God in Christ, you know, and she preached it. You and Kevin, we running out, we get Gooey and Guthrie or shocking them callers, we running over there with the sack. She said, she would always put it in us. And thank God for her. And that's how I'm away from it. I'm walking away. I'm away right now. I don't even think about it.
Praise God.
I don't, because he said, if you do these things, then you have success. But if you don't mention me, he said, your infirmities have kept you. I can't even hear you. John 9:31 said, and we know that God does not hear sinners. So I stuck. It didn't mean all that, but it meant that to me. That meant I got to stop. He ain't hearing nothing I'm saying. 59:2 said, you know your iniquities have separated you from where he can't even. All of them was making me say, okay, well, what am I doing? He ain't even listening to me. And then I got me a hold on, okay, that's who's gonna save me. And a few years later, he got me, man.
Okay, you look to the hills. Oh man,
From whence cometh?
Yes, your help. You know what I mean? So no, I listen, I appreciate it. And we're gonna go through some of your musical stuff because obviously, you know, that's who you are. And then we're gonna hear you play a little bit. I wanna talk a little about one subject, and then we'll move on to some Dallas stuff. But that is, tell me a little about Don Cornelius and the Soul Train of 1981.
Oh man, I love Don. God rest his soul. Because it don't be for him, I wouldn't have been on there. I wasn't scheduled to be there. That was Total Experience Day. That was Yarborough Peoples in the Gap Band. Because you know, Soul Train don't have 3 artists. They always have two guests. And so some told me to just pack my little goody suit and get my little keyboard and go down there. And I was just hanging around, and I caught Don coming out. I said, Don, I said, man, you know, this is my first record. I said, Kevin them got Don't Stop the Music Across the Wood, and Charlie them got hits everywhere. I said, man, this is my first record. If I don't be on Soul Train, my homies in Oak Cliff, I don't even think I made it. He said, Goody, man, you know what we don't do with 2 people on Saturday, man. I said, I understand. I said, I thought I'd just give it a shot. I turned around and walk off. And then he stopped. He said, good, hold up, man. Come here. He said, I'm going to take the Scrabble board. I'm going to dismiss it. That's 2 minutes.
Okay.
He said, you got a 2-minute version? I said, I got a 2, 3, I got whatever you need. I got it written. And he said, well, that's put it on. That's when you're going to do yours. That's the only way I got on is I did the Scrabble board 2 minutes. But, you know, 15, 20 million people saw me that Saturday.
So what song did you do?
Tonight I feel, my singer, like I wanna do something, do, which next week I heard my boy join that, do. Gotta get up early in the morning. Find me, I said, man, y'all go. But I've never blamed the Wilson brothers, because don't be for them. Any door Charlie went in, he stuck a brick in it. He said, oh, they letting us in. Just come on in behind us. That's how I get them Mercury records, RCA records, Polygram. They made sure you got to take good, man, you know, because that's all the way back from Tulsa.
That's awesome.
So, and they used to want me to hate on him because he wouldn't call us and he wouldn't answer our calls, but he was trying to save himself from the demon that hunted me for 42 years. He got out of it.
Yeah.
He got out of it. He done spent his last 22 years clean and sober.
Yeah.
And living a life. He deserved everything he got.
That part.
Charlie made hits at that record company and he didn't get no money.
What?
Come on, man. We didn't know, nobody that was with the Total Experience made any money. We
No
didn't get
royalties?
no royalties.
No residuals?
We signed the contract from the first, and they didn't know all rights reserved, all rights go to him.
Oh my God.
That means anything we wrote, and he was so called to, like my single, Do Something, and then another guy wrote it. He stuck his name on that, so we didn't give a 33 and a third piece. And he didn't even write nothing, he just put it, anything he thought was gonna be a hit, his name on Don't Stop the Music, his name on Drop the Bomb, his name on Early in the Morning, his name on all the Outstanding. Yeah.
But he didn't sing a song or play a
He don't
key.
know. He's the old slick nigga out of Tyler, man. Come to Hollywood and hustle his way up to the way he is, man.
That's tough. And
No,
you
we
know,
don't get no money, man.
listen, you know, Scripture says God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap.
That's right.
And you know, and we don't know how people reap stuff, so we let God deal with those things. But I will tell you this: all things work together for the good. So tell me this: those are very high highs. And when I'm listening to the story about your life, the 8 years in prison,
Yes.
the 42 years with chemical dependency, there were some low lows. But then you come back to town and somehow you find yourself doing some music again. Talk to me about it.
Through the youngsters, through the youth. I didn't feel famous. I knew I hadn't sold a million records like Kevin. I knew I hadn't sold a million like Charlie. So I didn't feel famous. I didn't have that thing that I was on, it brings that self-esteem all the way down where you really don't know who you are no more.
Okay.
But the youngsters, the Go Hard Blacks,
Go Hard Black.
the Big Dank King,
Big Dank.
these are guys that Snake.
Snake.
These are the guys that say, man, you're Mr. Goodie. They see me on Soul Train, they figured out, and man, it was just what I needed. 'Cause I didn't even know I could do all that stuff I did on that Ghetto Stories.
Ghetto Stories.
I had forgot that I played everything. Because when I come home, I was learning how to do that stuff again. I said, yes, man, you've been doing it. It was there. And it was through them that I got to doing music again. You know, cuz when he fought in Scarface and all, and they let him on tours with him and stuff. You know, it was through them that I found out. I remember we was riding through Dallas one night, and I saw that the Gap Band was going to be at the reunion. And they said, man, you thought you was the Gap Band. I said, well, pull it down there. We pulled down the back of the reunion. And I went to the back door, And the man said, well, who you know? I said, well, can you get anybody from the Gap, man? And the manager, and so Charlie's uncle came back there, and when he opened the door, he said, how many you got? That's good, how many you got? And then I took them in, and when I walked in, Charlie looked down and saw on the side, and he did like this, and I got up there, man, and we jammed a little bit. And then all the Dope Fiend guys, and they said, man, we saw that old Dope Fiend man up on the stage with Charlie Wilson. He ain't lying, man. You know, that was...
That's amazing. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad that I get a chance to meet you and talk to you directly.
Yes.
I mean, you seem like you took everything in stride.
Yes.
And it also paints a good narrative and good picture of Charlie, because I'm going to tell you something. You never said a disparaging word. And it seems like any time he had an opportunity to try to open a door, he did it.
He did it, man. Me and Charlie got a record. You can look it up when it's called Country Rap. It was on my my first album. Where he was Johnny Cash, and I was two country western dudes, because it's a country western song.
Okay.
And Charlie can sing just like yip, 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 yip. He can just like, and we just ad-libbed it. I said, "God dang, Charlie, I tell you, I was over a day talking to your mom." And she, and he would come back with his, and we didn't plan it, and they was recording, and it's called Country Rap. You got to hear this song, and I hope we get closer to us, and then we need to do a video of me and you two old country singers with the guitar, because he was telling me, he said, Goodie, I heard you know how to yell. Can you do a little? I said, yeah. Charlie, you old ladies, man, old lady. All kind of comes. See, I was going to be a comedian, man, but like the man said at the Tulsa speech, I slept on you, Goodie. You was one of the most talented there. I didn't know. He said, I was so wrapped up with the Yarborough Peoples in the Gap there. Yeah. He said, I slept on my jewel right here. Because he said all that stuff, he see Martin and all those guys, those comedians doing, he said, he used to sit in the, that's how I got famous with Chalk and all. And then go get that boy, put that wind in his jaw and make that face and start talking out. And they used to sit to me, go get him. I mean, Ray Charles, anybody that wanted me to do Billy Preston, that's how I became, that's why they call, because my mother-in-law was named Goodie, and she had Dip Snuff. And so that's how I got in. I tell stories about her. And Charlie them just made a big thing out of it, man. So it would be, oh man, it's amazing. If I ever, and I'm going to get the chance to all these things I'm telling you about. The ADs and the Craigs. They felt me, man. I saw them. They said, man, we just missed people 45 and over. We ain't trying to. So this is my spot. And they could feel my music, and I could hear what they was doing, and whatever they need. Yeah, it's got me very excited right now, man. In 23,
I will tell you this, and shout out to Go Hard Black and E40, but listen here, no disrespect to anyone, but I heard that Go Hard Black, maybe it was first or only album, but it was the one that it was black and green and. Man, when I heard this gentleman singing on those hooks, man, and playing these instruments, it was the thing that made me listen to him. Because Go Hard was doing a poetry over beats, and I never really heard that. But the musical quality and the hooks, man, they were great. And I come to find out it was none other than Mr. Goodie.
Yeah, that's...
Share something with us if you can.
Oh man, I could go on and on about him because I was really afraid of them. My wife was telling me, "Why don't you help my young?" And they was hustling, they was.
Yeah, I know. Praise your court.
They were, oh man. Yeah. That song, that Praise Your Court, here's the day. Yeah, I was afraid with him, but my wife said, that's my nephew now. Don't help him. I want nobody help him. You know you can help him. So I started hanging with him, and like you said, everybody was saying, well, he talking here. I said, y'all ain't hearing. I'm hearing something else, and I'm gonna delve into it to make his. I don't want him to sound like what he sound different.
Yeah.
He ain't rap like no regular.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's something somebody else ain't doing.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll put the expensive beast behind you.
Yeah.
You know, and because he's a writer.
Yeah.
He can tell them stories, man. You know, he know those stories, and so just by him staying with me, I all through, you know, I didn't never have to. He'd come in there with a croaky sack full of dimes and say, because he knew, he used to like to sit and watch me again. He said, because you don't never do nothing crazy, you just go play the music. I said, yeah, man, I don't listen to what it be telling, those things be telling you to do, to go get this, man, go try that. I said, I never did listen to Natalie taught me. She said, you should ever start listening to what it tell you. You listen enough. But don't listen at it. It'll have you doing something you ain't gonna never get back from. And my nephew stayed with me, stuck with me, saw me come out of this, and I'm getting with him tonight after I leave here. He's got so much love for what I'm trying to do, and he's on it too. He's got to go. I still got my music with him. I got catalogs with Addict.
Yeah.
All of them. I done spent time with them in their camps, and we got music. And now it's time to get them things out of the computer, and the business is coming friendly to us now.
Yes, sir.
You know, somebody screams something that I'm paid already when they just check it out to see how it sounds.
It's a new day. Huh?
It's a whole new day. Boy, I didn't think it was coming. God said, no, man. You know, just stay with your craft, you know. You ain't misuse your talent. And I always use it for God every Sunday. Every Sunday. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in me as I in you. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not, I would have told you so. See, this is what I do Sunday. This is my ministry too. I go to a far place for you. And that's my ministry, that's my heart. Because I got a gospel. I got a gospel side that standing on the rock with Jesus. He's standing on the rock with Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus is my all and all. I'm standing on the rock.
Okay.
When Jesus, he would never let me fall. He opened up. I got a lot of songs like that I redone, you know. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes shall have everlasting life. Yes, you're wondering where I've been. Trying to find my God again. I got a whole gospel thing, but it's all songs that you done heard.
Yeah, and they're remixed.
So that'll grab you just for that second, and you can get my message.
Yeah.
Then I got you. That's my hook on that.
No, that's amazing. Listen, I know that I'm gonna have to have you back so that we can really walk down through that. But there's two things that I want to touch on, and one is, and I always ask people, while you're here and you turn around and look back, what would you tell your younger self to help them avoid any pitfalls?
First of all, I tell them they have to trust God. Because if you delight yourself in Him, He will order your steps. And you know, if He's ordering your steps, He's going to send you down the right road. And so that's what I would say to him is you can't trust the world or you can't trust man. What did God say? He said, none of us good, not one of us. And He mean that He wants us to trust Him instead of man, because you know what man gonna do ain't to be trusted. God wants you to trust Him. Now, if you want to try to make it in this business, trust me. He's showing me more now than all that what I did. He's showing me more opportunities how I can get, because I always thought that it wasn't meant. I said, this wasn't, since I've gotten with God, that wasn't in His plans for me to be a big star on the stage. This is what I wanted. And He let me taste it, He let me get up. But look, He blessed Lois to sell 1 million records. And they made a few $100,000 here and there, you know, because they had to dig and fight for it to make them get lawyers to get them little pennies what they was getting. I said, well, but she was studied by God all the time. She was always with him. She was always mentioned no matter what. You know, and came running with them bad girls and shocking them and all them influences. You know, we was Hollywood stuff. We didn't, but she was sticking with who was gonna bring her through it. That's why she did taste a little of it. And right now, you know, they can go on one of them tours and get them $8,000, $9,000. You know, they can go around to survive. And that's all we're trying to do now. We know we've had our moment. Thank God for the way he's making the technology where we can still receive, and still be known, and still be heard. You know, but the main thing to tell them is stick with God, man. Because you know what? My first deal was with Jack Doherty, and he produced every song the Carpenters played from Only Just Begun to Get Close to You. My partner took me to him, and I was gonna be his first project after that. And I signed with him, but I saw Charlie and them and them Rolls Royces and them shingles and them cowboy hats. And I said, I don't want to be with you. I want to go over there with them. Biggest mistake I made in my music career. So and before he died, he told me, he said, I was going to fix it where you could at least work 150, 200 nights a year in Vegas. You know, just making good money. Yeah. Way I was trying to be, man, he had me smooth. But see, I was wanting what I want. So when you're in this, if you try to get what you want out of it so much and not let God lead you, I don't care who you are, it's not gonna be what it could be if you trust in God for everything. I'll leave you with that, man.
And you know what, and I'm gonna take that. You know, acknowledge him in all your ways and let him direct your path. So I'm gonna take that. And so we're here, man, in the Love Deposit Studios. This is a living testimony. I believe if you don't tell the testimony, then you just may have failed the test. So thank you so much for walking us through your story. It's been me, man, Patrick the Dread. I'm your host. And we're here, man, with none other than Mr. Goodie Randolph. And it's a wrap. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That go.